Yo, YouTube, what is the story? So today's video is going to be all about lean bulking and how to do it effectively. But first, I want to touch on what bulking actually is. So bulking is a term used to describe eating in a calorie surplus with the intent of gaining muscle. However, people often struggle with bulking. So on one end of the spectrum, you see people using the term bulking to pig out and gain lots of fat. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you see people quite hesitant to bulk because they're afraid of gaining too much size. So the tips I'm about to share are going to help you formulate a plan to successfully implement a lean bulk. So let's get started. Alright, so my first tip is to start your bulk lean. And I'm saying this for two reasons. So the first reason is that if you don't start your bulk lean, by the end of the bulk, you're going to have way too much fat to lose. And the second reason is because research has shown that you have a greater capacity to gain muscle when you are lean. So somewhere between 10 and 15% body fat. And this is because when you're relatively lean, you have increased insulin sensitivity and also increased testosterone levels, which are massive factors of hypertrophy. Unfortunately though, not a lot of us know our body fat percentage, and even if we went to get it tested, it's hard to tell if it's even accurate. So a good guideline is that your abs should be somewhat visible before you start a bulk. Okay, so moving on to tip number 2, I really recommend finding the correct amount of calories that allow you to gain predominantly muscle and not fat during your bulk. And I think a lot of this is about kind of trial and error, but a good place to start is by increasing your calorie maintenance by approximately 10 to 15%. So let's just say that my calorie maintenance is 3,000 calories and I wanted to go on a lean bulk. I would consume approximately 3,300 to 3,450 calories per day and see how I get on from there. Also, if you don't track calories and you don't know what your calorie maintenance is, but you want to start tracking calories so you can successfully implement a lean bulk, I think consuming approximately 16 to 17 calories per pound of body weight per day is a good place to start. So let's just say I weigh 160 pounds. I'm going to do this on a calculator. So 160 multiplied by 17 is 2,720 calories. So that's how many calories I consume per day to start my lean bulk. Okay, so for my third tip, I'm going to briefly touch on macros. So to successfully implement a lean bulk, I recommend consuming approximately 2.2 grams of protein per kg of your body weight. So let's just say you weigh 75 kg, 75 multiplied by 2.2 is 165 grams of protein per day. And then in terms of carbs and fats, I recommend being pretty flexible with them, kind of playing around with them until you find what combination suits you best. And as long as you're getting approximately 1 gram of fat per kg of your body weight, so if you're 70 kg, as long as you're getting approximately 70 grams of fat per day, you're good to go. Right, so for tip number 4, let's talk about your workouts. So when you're bulking, you're obviously in a calorie surplus and therefore you're gonna have more energy. So you should use this energy to bring your workouts up a notch, and this will just provide your muscles with a bigger stimulus to grow. So most of us know that the biggest drivers of hypertrophy, or the most important factors of muscle growth, are workout volume, workout intensity, and workout frequency. So make sure you're striving for improvements in all of these factors. So you can do this by just increasing the sets that you're doing, increasing increasing the reps that you're doing, increasing the weight that you're working with, and even increasing the amount of times you're going to the gym every week. Okay, so my fifth and final tip is to track your progress. And to do this effectively, you should roughly know what your muscle gaining capacity is, so you can tell from the scales if you're gaining weight at the right pace. So a guy called Lyle McDonald, who's like really well respected in the fitness industry, put together a model that demonstrates the rate of muscle gain that typically occurs in proportion to the number of years you've been training in the gym. So I'll display that on screen now. So as you can see, your capacity to grow muscle is a lot higher in the early years of training. And if your training and nutrition is on point, in your first year of training, males can expect to gain between 20 and 25 pounds of muscle, and females can expect to gain approximately half of that. And this capacity to grow muscle kind of decreases with training years, and it gets to a stage where you can only grow a few pounds of muscle every year. So just be aware of this, so you know approximately how much weight you should be gaining every month. And if you only have the capacity to grow like 1 pound of muscle every month, and you're gaining like 4 or 5 pounds every month, then you know to bring your calories down a little. Alright, so just before I round off this video, let's do a quick recap. So tip number 1 is to start lean. Tip number 2 is to find the correct amount of calories that will allow you to gain predominantly muscle. Tip number 3 is get your macros on point. Tip number 4, bring your workouts to the next level. And tip number 5 is to track your progress. Alright, so that is that. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. My next video is going to be on alcohol and how you can consume alcohol and still reach your fitness goals. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Also, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one.